It's really easy to talk about how innovation is everyone's job in a company. But one of the reasons why innovation fails so often is because when it comes down to it, some projects are going to fail. And what is going to be the impact on the people responsible for those projects or the people impacted by those projects when those inevitable failures do happen? This is one of the real cruxes behind why people don't want to take responsibility for supporting innovations. Because quite often, people in organizations have set guidelines on what their performance is going to be measured by. They have their annual performance reviews to their boss or to their superiors, and they know what's expected of them. Quite often, this is determined primarily by KPIs around business as usual, shall we call it. Whether or not they met the minimum criteria for their job description, whether or not they kept everything running smoothly, whether or not their team performed as they should be, and whether or not they may be able to show a little bit of growth. But what really gets punished is when things don't go according to plan, when things fail, per se. And this isn't necessarily the fault of the people who are put in these positions. It's the fault of the way the organization is set up to review performance. If an organization really only punishes failure and gives gentle positive uplift around successes, then that really hinders innovation projects. Because traditional business and business as usual, to a degree, you can plan out what activities are going to have an impact on the business and therefore what performance is going to be in the future. But innovation projects, you really don't necessarily know whether or not they're going to succeed, whether or not they're going to have a mild impact, whether or not they're going to have a huge impact. So there's a lot of downside to people, especially in decision-making roles, for supporting something that's going to fundamentally change the business in case it does go badly. And yes, there might be some upside to it if it goes well, but because of the way that the human mind works and the biases that we have, especially ones like loss aversion, where losses feel a lot more emotional and are felt a lot more strongly than the equivalent amount of gains, it's a lot worse for someone to be judged as having failed and to judge themselves as having failed than it is to having a success. And where this really starts to hurt companies is if there's a team that is given the license to go and do innovation and to go and try out exciting new ideas, experiment, and even probably push ideas out through a pilot phase, when it comes to then actually implementing those new innovations inside the existing company, well, the people who are affected from a BAU perspective, they might not be able to stomach the concept of losses. They might be more affected by the fact that this new idea, this new innovation is going to fundamentally change the way that they do their job. And if it doesn't necessarily align with the way that they're reviewed as far as their performance goes and the way that their team is reviewed as far as performance goes, they're going to be a lot more hesitant to actually support this new innovation. And that's why it might be quite simple to come up with ideas, and it might be reasonably simple to manage those ideas through an innovation pipeline, even pilot it and get confirmation from customers that they like it. But where these innovations so often fall down is when they want to get implemented and scaled into the existing business as usual. So how can you actually fix this problem? Well, one of the main ways of doing it is that you want to be bringing on the people who are going to be affected by this change as early in the development process as possible. The people who are going to determine whether or not they support scaling this idea within their own teams, you want to have those people involved in the designing of this innovation, if possible. That way, when it comes to actually launching it, they've already seen how it performs in a pilot stage. They probably already know the processes that are required for it to work, and therefore they're going to be a lot less hesitant around the unknowns about what it might do to their team and their business unit. The other important thing that needs to be implemented is support right from above for these innovation initiatives, and support that during the development phase and during the experimentation phase, there is going to be a degree of some of these projects failing. And if that is seen as a very negative aspect in people's performance reviews, then it's going to really prevent people from wanting to get involved in these innovation projects. But if the way that performance reviews are handled, if the way that HR looks at failure versus successes, and if there's a way that the whole company can benefit from innovation rather than just the people right at the top and the shareholders, then it's going to make people a lot more willing to try out new things, to suggest new things, and to work on new things. So I hope you found that interesting. I've been Nick Skillicorn from ideatovalue.com, and if you want to build your innovation capabilities, then make sure you go to www.ideatovalue.com to get all of the best insights on innovation capability development. If you thought this video was interesting, then please like it, share it with your colleagues, and leave me a comment down below about whether or not you think changing the performance review culture can have a positive impact on innovation performance. Apart from that, I'll see you soon. Cheers for now. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment about what you thought and what you'd like to see more about. If you want to take your creativity and innovation capabilities to the next level, then invest in yourself with the premium training only available at ideatovalue.com. These exclusive training modules have all been put together by me, Nick Skillicorn, and have been used by thousands of artists, innovation leaders, and CEOs to become better at understanding the source of their creativity and executing on their innovation ambitions. And there is no risk to you, as they're backed by our money-back guarantee. Now, don't forget to go out there and make your ideas a reality. See you again soon.